Why do you still let them text you? And that is a question my ex told me a long time ago, and I thought he was the problem, but it turns out he's right. He asked me this question about why do you allow these people to still text you? Why do you respond to these people? And it was actually one of the reasons why we had major arguments, huge arguments, because the story goes, basically I was responding to old messages from people that they're not people who I would say are established in life. They take drugs, they even deal drugs, they even make drugs, some of them, for example, or there are people who just don't have the most sturdy jobs in their life. I still love them as people, and they're great guys, they're great people at heart, but I would still respond to these messages. And if they wanted to catch up and meet up with me, because I just had a good impression back then when I was younger, when I was 19 years old and I didn't know better, was the reason why he was looking into my phone, which was a red flag back then. And he was like, why are you allowing these people to still get your attention? Why are you entertaining these people? And in my defense, back in the days, it's like, hey, we have no weird relationship. You don't have to be jealous over this. You don't have to worry about me going back into that life. I've moved on from that life. And they're just responding because we don't hate each other and they're not bad or they don't want to cause harm in my life. And I'm sure you have a lot of friends, and I think a lot of people relate to this. I'm sure you have friends that you also had good relationship with, but yourself, that they don't have the future they're currently living with that aligns with where you want to go. And so I we had different values, me and my ex. The reason how why we had a huge argument afterwards was because of this value differences, and therefore was at the time a big problem for me. But after a few years I realized that he's definitely right, because I am ultimately aiming towards a better lifestyle. And as somebody who's rather ambitious, or somebody who always wanted to have better relationships and healthy relationships with people, if not even meet people who had better qualities, like, good jobs, good educational background, not because of the fact that on paper they look good, but it's really just because they offer quality advice and they have connections and other friends that they know that is going to help me with having a more cleaner future. So that was the case. If my future and my value is towards a more neater, cleaner future, you shouldn't need to feel bad for not entertaining these previous people in your life anymore. The fact that I used to not cut off ties when I should have. It's not, sometimes you're not cutting off ties because they're bad. You're not cutting off ties because their occupation doesn't align with where you want to go. But sometimes it's just a rather of it's time to move on, and it's time to keep your distance with certain people. Not everyone deserves to be in your circle anymore. You don't have to reply to certain people. Sometimes I have a problem with being too nice. So if somebody messages me, even if I don't want to respond to them, I will respond to them and I will give them a chance, because I don't know, I care too much about certain people who has at once at some point had we spent several hours, several days together in having fun. And so like I can't easily push people away. You're not pushing people away though, so there's also a bit of a difference there. But I realized that when I actually took his advice afterwards, when I realized that he was right, I shouldn't keep these contacts anymore. And one of those trigger, it's a bit of a trigger warning right now, is on that argument afterwards, he took my phone and he practically deleted every contact that associated with that lifestyle I had back in the day, which was not good. They weren't healthy. Deleted all the contacts. They had nothing to do with harming me intentionally at any way whatsoever. He deleted all of it. We blocked all the numbers. Not we, him, by the way. He blocked all those numbers, which is pretty shitty, by the way. But after a year or so was when I realized, like, hey, I actually didn't need these numbers. I don't actually, not even once did it cross my mind to contact these people again. There was no reason to. There was no situation that triggered me to want to contact these people again. In fact, I just kept walking towards that future that I wanted to move towards, a lifestyle that was much better. And the new people that interacted or provided or even aligned with where I wanted to go was the people who I ended up keeping contact. But the previous people, literally the entire list of contacts that he stole my phone and deleted, were people I've never actually contacted afterwards again. Of course, there were some outliers that I re-established a connection with and found out they were honestly doing better themselves, which is why we're still friends today. except for a couple of outliers, most of them were actually people who I could have ended that relationship way earlier. So here's to just my first episode of Grace's podcast. I don't know. Welcome to my podcast. If you want to learn more about some of the life things that I realized, and I'm happy to share with you guys. I'm not really comfortable on camera yet. I've been trying on Instagram, but YouTube is going to be my first. If this was something that resonated with you, or if you feel that this could pop off, just give me a like, subscribe, comment what you think, or if there's actually something that I've missed. I might have definitely missed something, but see you guys later.